But I wanted to ask you to talk a little bit about the very, very rich. And whether, I mean, this has always been in my mind that people over, with over $100 million should just be forced to give that money to a general pool that gets redistributed. Would there ever be a solution in a cap on wealth?
Yeah, the economist in me says that you never want to have a point where you basically have 100% taxation at the margin. That just creates crazy incentives. But it is interesting that we have we have a progressive tax system, but the top rate kicks in at whatever it is, 300-something thousand, depends on family and all. But it used to be there were more gradations above that. I think there's a quite good case for at least having another another tax rate that kicks in for people with more than $1 million a year in income. So I think that the sort of more moderate, reasonable answer, although it would need denounced as socialism, communism, whatever, would need to have another one or two tax brackets further up the scale. It is worth remembering that back when we had real socialist presidents like Dwight Eisenhower, at that point the top marginal tax bracket was 91%. Hardly anybody was in it. But I think that would come closer to what you're talking about, and I think there would be less. If we had a steeper scale, there would probably even pre-tax income, there would be fewer people in that incredibly high bracket because people contemplating acquiring that second $100 million might say, is this really what I want to do with my life? And if that would be a terrible thing if you thought that on average people who acquire that second $100 million were doing great things for society, but I think we've gotten a pretty good lesson that that's mostly not true.